Keyes was a reporter for the Hartford Courant. Before there was a hockey team in this city, he actively campaigned in his column to bring a hockey team here. Last Friday night, Frank Keyes of the Hartford Courant was inducted into the Whaler Hall of Fame. There was a time in Connecticut when sports fans would be treated to something special in the Hartford Courant. A column called Grist from the Sports Mill. In this sports column, readers would never see a quote from sports personalities or excerpts from a coach's winning strategy. What they would find was an extraordinary outlook on the world of sports, written by an extraordinary man, sports writer Frank Keyes.
He loved hockey, and he knew more about hockey than anybody, but we never talked hockey around here. We talked basketball and baseball and football. Those were the big sports around Hartford. And we had we had little reason to talk about hockey. But Keyes kept it in front of us as long as I knew him, which was something like 10 years.
And he used to be writing about hockey when most people in Connecticut didn't even know who Gordie Howe was back in the 60s and early 70s.
He's just the kind of person that you thought a sports writer should look like and act like. Tough to know, very knowledgeable, and yet as a young sports writer like me, you know, 20-some-odd years ago, a word of praise from Frank meant a lot.
Frank Keyes got his start at a New Haven newspaper, then worked for the Associated Press. In 1941, he began covering the Connecticut sports scene for the Hartford Courant. And for over 30 years, Grist from the Sports Mill became one of the best-written and most read sports columns in the country.
Keyes was everything. He was a teacher. He taught, though, by example. And when you asked Frank Keyes a question, the answer was the right answer. He knew newspapers. He knew how to do it. He knew how to be fair. He knew how to check a story. And he knew how to hit hard, and he knew when to draw back.
And Frank Keyes was a dreamer. He dreamt that someday Hartford would have its own hockey team. In the mid-60s and early 70s, he would share that dream with his readers every April Fool's Day. In 1974, Frank Keyes would be the first to proudly tell Connecticut sports fans that his dream was about to come true.
It was just a kind of out of the clear blue sky, and then all of a sudden, you know, we had a big exclusive story about the WHA New England Whalers moving from Boston to Hartford. And, but it didn't surprise me because Frank had so many contacts from people that he knew over the years because, number one, he was a good guy, and number two, he did his job.
The New England Whalers would hit the ice in Hartford for the first time in January of 1975. Ironically, Frank Keyes died just 6 months before that game. Since then, in his memory, the Frank Keyes Memorial Award was created to honor an unsung hero of the Whalers team each season. In past years, players such as Dave Keon, Ray Neufeld, Dave Tippett, and Paul McDermott have all been recipients.
Hockey was in Keyes' blood, but he was a sports writer. He could write anything and do anything, and he knew. He was just a great guy.
I know if he was alive today, he would probably be down the press box having a few beers, come down here tonight, accept his award, and there might be a couple tears in his eyes when he accepted it. I want to thank you for recognizing my father as a tremendous hockey fan. Before it was a fashionable thing to do. I too am a hockey fan. I guess I learned that from my father. And every time I see the Whalers play, I get that in my blood. I know that my dad shares the pride with the Whalers and their accomplishments. There's no bigger fan than my father. And the organization brings honor to itself by nominating him. In his behalf, mine and my family, I'd like to thank everybody for his nomination. Thank you.